You swore that you would never be like them. And then somehow you recreated their exact relationship with different names, different dynamic. This video is going to show you why. And it's not because you failed. You watched this growing up, the distance, the criticism, the chaos, or the silence, and you made a promise to yourself. My relationship will never be like that. But here you are, feeling the same tension that you felt as a kid, attracting the same kind of person that you swore you were going to avoid completely. And I'm going to explain to you why this is in the next few minutes. Why the relationships that you hate became the thing that you repeat. The invisible reasons running and pulling you towards the thing that you don't want to have. And what it takes to break this pattern that you never really agreed to. And we're going to start with the first part, because you didn't just watch their relationship of your parents. You absorb the way that they behave. So let me start with a mechanism that nobody really explains. As a child, you didn't have the definition of love. So your mind did what every child's mind does when they're kids. It looks around and it starts to copy. The relationship that was in front of you, whether it was your parents or whoever raised you, became your reference point, not because it was healthy, but because it was there for you. And you pretty much followed the blueprint. A blueprint is the unconscious template that your mind builds for what love is supposed to feel like. And it gets built before you are even old enough to question this. So if love in your home came with distance, your blueprint says love feels like distance. If it came with walking on eggshells, love feels like tension. If affection was there 1 minute and gone the next, the unpredictability, that is what love feels like for you. So you didn't choose this blueprint. You inherit the blueprint. And here's the part that stings the most, because you can unconsciously hate the blueprint and still be running it underneath, because the blueprint isn't a belief. It's deeper than a thought. It's the feeling that your body reaches for when it wants to feel at home. And while your mind is running away from it, your nervous system is running towards it. So if you hate the pattern, why do you keep landing on the same pattern? Because there are two parts of you that are pointing to opposite directions. Your conscious mind is running from the pattern. It says, never again. I want something calm, something kind, something different. But underneath your conscious mind is the nervous system. This is the automatic part that decides what feels safe for you. And it doesn't decide based on what's healthy, it decides based on what's familiar. And the most familiar emotional environment in the world to you is the one where you grew up in. So when you meet someone who recreates the old dynamic, the distant one, the critical one, your nervous system doesn't sound the alarm. It relaxes. It says, I know this. This right here feels like home. That relaxation feels like chemistry. Like there is just something about them. There isn't anything about them. There is something familiar about them. And that is the pattern. Meanwhile, a person who offers the opposite, they offer the stillness, the warmth, the consistency. That to you feels off and it feels boring. Like there's no spark. Because your nervous system has no blueprint for it. Remember, the blueprint you created when you were a kid, watching whoever raised you. So you drift again and again towards the familiar and you call it love because you recognize the familiar. That is how you run from your parents' relationship your whole life and arrive at it every single time that you find a new partner. Because you inherited that blueprint and it has not been updated. But here's a reframe that will change everything for you. You don't repeat your parents' pattern because something is wrong with you. You repeat it because nobody ever installed a different blueprint for you to feel safe inside. You were handed a template, not because you chose it, but because that was the only one that was available to you when you were a kid. Now, I know this personally because I grew up with love that sometimes felt like I had to earn it. And for years, I repeated exactly that. I chose partners who I had to win over. Then I exhausted myself trying to be enough for them. I told myself that I was different from what I grew up in, but I wasn't. I was just running the blueprint on autopilot. The change for me didn't come after trying harder to avoid it. It came from finally seeing it and naming the pattern. And also by slowly teaching my nervous system that calm was safe, that I didn't have to earn love to keep it. That is the work that you have to do. Not while knocking past the pattern, but by updating the blueprint that you have underneath. Because a pattern that you can name loses its grip on you, and the nervous system can be retrained by understanding what the pattern looks like. Because the template that you were handed as a kid has never been the truth about love. It was just the only version that was shown to you as a kid. And remember, kids see something and they absorb everything. So when you name the pattern, your whole life can start changing. But here's the next step that you have to take. Once you understand the blueprint, you can absorb it before you can question it. Because the nervous system is always going to try to pull you towards the familiar, while your mind swears that it doesn't want this. So you have to update the blueprint first. And this is why I build a relationship pattern assessment, because it shows you the specific patterns that you have inherited and which parts of you are keeping that pattern alive. And if you want to learn more about that, the link is in the description of this video. And if you're ready to install a new blueprint instead of just spotting the old one, that is where I go deeper inside of Trueform, inside of the school community that we have. So if you're interested on that, also the link is in my bio. Hopefully you learned something valuable today. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, as this helps me make more videos that will help you find the pattern and have better relationships. At the end of the day, that is my goal, and hopefully I'm achieving this with these videos. I will see you on the next one.